I just wanted to have my first Coca-Cola of the year, and the weather's so hot here today. And I went to the local BP petrol station, and all they had was the vanilla Coke no sugar flavor. I mean, it's okay, it's doing the job, but this wasn't what I wanted as my celebratory first Coca-Cola of the year treat. Is what it is. Is what it is. Anyway, so last week I made a post on an indie dev subreddit, and I was asking for feedback and just general critique of my game Fool's End and its latest gameplay trailer. And to be honest, it got a much bigger response than I had envisioned. I mean, we're talking, well over 260 upvotes and more than 60 comments of feedback and praise. Yes, some praise. Uh, there's a lot of valuable feedback from other indie devs in there, and some of it, there's so much of it that even some of it contradicted with what others were saying in the same threads. So what I've done is I've aggregated the most recurring and most upvoted pieces of feedback in there, and in this video I'll respond to those ideas and then implement changes to Fool's End based on the comments. So without further ado, let's get into the comments. So number one, add parallaxing background elements. So as Priscilla Halfbreed commented, looks like easy quick fun. If you really want to elevate this 10 times over, make some parallax backgrounds to add depth, and there's some very blurry foreground stalagmites and plants randomly or something. So yeah, for those who are a bit less in the weeds of game development, the parallax effect is where background elements of a game move at a slower speed than the foreground elements. This helps create a sense of depth. Initially I chose not to do parallax effect at all because I didn't want to detract from what was happening on the screen. Or some silly justification like that. I don't know. Basically, I think Spelunky didn't really have a big parallax effect, so I kind of just decided that I wouldn't either. But I think that was stupid, really. So I've added in a minor parallax effect. It only really took me about 5 minutes to make. I shouldn't have put it off. I don't know why I did. And now I think the game actually looks much better. So yeah, a huge thank you to all the people saying to add parallax in because it has helped a lot. Number two comment, make the biomes more distinct. So yes, as Mr. Brain of Cubes has said, on a note about the 3 biomes, you describe them as distinct, but biomes 1 and 2 in the comparison look very similar. Dark stone background with primarily grey blocks, brown dirt, and accents of green. Consider introducing colours like deep blues to give a biome a cooler feel to distinguish it. So yeah, Fool's End has 3 themed areas, each with 12 levels, plus a boss fight each. There are the caves, the jungle, and I guess Egyptian hellscape kind of thing. Anyway, the differences between each biome initially consisted of just changing rock and dirt color palettes and enemy types that were exclusive to those levels. However, visually speaking, in a 60-second trailer, those differences aren't very noticeable. And this is particularly pronounced when my trailer proclaimed boldly that it had 3 distinct biomes, and then they didn't really look that different because they aren't that different visually speaking. So what I've done is added interactive decor elements to each biome to make them stand out. This is actually drawing from the previous comment as well that suggested like stalagmites and plants. So yeah, for instance, in the cave there are now stalactites and stalagmites across the respected roof and ground. Now I've learnt the differences between a stalactite and stalagmite. I didn't even know they had separate words. I guess they do. Anyway, these objects are not just decorative. They can also be shattered with a small touch of a pickaxe. And I'm trying to make that shatter effect as satisfying as possible to do because there's no reason to destroy them other than to just see the motion graphic of them blowing. I don't know. Do it if you want, don't do it if you don't want to. Anyway, in the jungle biome, I've added vines and mushrooms. There's a similar idea there, except there are 2 types of mushrooms. One is a harmless brown mushroom, and the other is a lethal multicolored shroom that emits poison clouds when damaged. It can be used to kill enemies if you're crafty and manage to pop one off from a distance with a throw-in pickaxe, or it can be a pitfall for a player if you accidentally destroy one during a path and you blow one up and whatever, and the cloud gets you, basically you die of poison death. Either way, it just adds some minor depth to the gameplay while adding a visual variety to the game, in particular in those first 2 levels. The jump and fall animations look too snappy. So yes, this was one I got a couple times. This one from V and Ardeen. I think the jump in particular needs some work. Straight up, then straight down. No frames or floating or deceleration, it makes the jump look uncomfortably fast and hard to control. The jump doesn't need to go any higher, you just need some hang time, and maybe some easing to make it feel natural. Yeah, I agree. So I've added some new separate landing frames, just like a little up and down animation, and I've tied the falling and jumping sprites to the exact velocity, so that when the fall is falling at a set speed, there'll be a certain frame, and when it's ascending, it's a set frame, and there's a bit of variety between them, as opposed to just cycling through the animation in a linear sequence, which is what it was kind of earlier. I'm going to refine the jumping a bit more. I think I'm going to play around with gravity. At the moment, I've set it a bit lower, so it's actually a little bit floatier. I just want to try to figure out if I can get a way to get some hang time, like Vian has suggested in this comment, so thank you for that. And the fourth recurring piece of feedback is that the game speed is possibly running too fast, or that there's like infrequencies of game speed. So as Orion 5 has commented, game looks fun indeed, although to me it looks like the game is running a little bit too fast. Not sure if it's the animations or gravity or something else. Yeah, the way I've interpreted this is that the run animation in particular was appearing to play a bit too quickly compared to the rest of the game, so I've slowed down the run animations a touch to balance them out more, and I think now it looks more in line with the rest. So I think that was well worth it. And the rest of the feedback was mostly addressed to the substance of the trailer rather than the game itself, because as I said earlier, I posted this with the link to the trailer and was primarily asking for feedback on that. So in that respect, same kind of scenario, a variety of feedback. Blah, blah, blah. So the most common trailer feedback I got was about clarifying the player's objective. As _RealPaul says, there's a lot of info on how you can do things, but I don't see what the overall goal is. Roguelike runs, escape to the surface, just an open Mario 64 playground. And yeah, in this trailer edit, I don't really show where the player is aiming to go or what the objective is at all. So I've actually made another trailer. I made it just a couple of days afterwards, actually, just following up on all this advice. And as you can see in this new trailer, I have put the find your exit narrative right at the start. Find your way out of each cave level. I think it's absolutely valid comment that _RealPaul has made. I do need to establish, otherwise this could just look like a Spelunky style roguelike game. Or it could just even look like a Metroidvania to people who aren't aware, and this isn't that. This is a level-based, quick-fire gameplay kind of thing. You find the exit without dying, and if you die, you start again. And there's 36 levels. That's the game. So I'm glad I could clarify that in the new trailer. Alright, the second recurring comment about the trailer footage. People were wondering, about the Gravestone mechanic, and some people really liked the idea of the Gravestone, and no one was against it, but it wasn't made very clear in the trailer, maybe, perhaps. So let's just look at the feedback. So there's conflicting feedback on it. In the first comment, and again from Brain of Cubes, they said, what is more interesting is the death plus gravestones mechanic, but that's buried a full minute into the video when most viewers will probably have fallen off. And then saying the exact opposite to that is Rua Iridix, who says, conversely, I personally wouldn't include the bit about the player's gravestone remaining after death. This is a very cool detail, and I can easily see how it changes gameplay, but I think it's just too specific a detail for a trailer. It's less of a selling point, more just a cool mechanic for the gameplay to encounter, for the player to encounter when they play. And I'm in the middle of both those two comments, really, because the gravestone mechanic was not something that my Full Zen was built around. It's something that I developed partway through, and I think it's cool, and it's just something you can use to your advantage, but it's not the main point of the game. It is a unique feature of Full Zen, but it's not the reason to buy Full Zen, in my opinion. But if it is, it's still a fun mechanic to play with. It does change the game quite a lot, but it's not the center point of my game. The game is based around environmental destruction. So with that in mind, I have put it in the trailer still, in the second trailer, and I've just made it more clear exactly what the graph mechanic does. And I've actually made a level early on, so kind of like a tutorial-ish level, that shows the player how the Gravestone works because I've made them use it to get past the level. And in brackets here, made them because there is another way to get out, but it requires a little bit of intuition. And I actually hope most people do not find this second path out, because if they do, then they may not actually learn the Gravestone mechanic, but alas, it is what it is. Alright. Feedback piece number 3. Too much text on screen, and if I get into it, user hacking your umwelt says, hacking your umwelt. Alright, whatever. I think you can actually decrease the amount of text on screen without changing the video for some. And brackets, 2D mining adventure indestructible environment is self-evident, and it would be better if you conveyed lots of ways to die visually. So yeah, show don't tell, right? The principle of storytelling, really, I guess. And in this new trailer, I've used a lot less text pop-up selling what's happening, just trying to make things as obvious and dramatic as possible. There are some things that I've still put, the text up for. I think none is too little, to be honest. So yeah, I've kept what I think is vital and removed the rest. Alright, feedback number 4. Show off the destructive environments more. So going back to the comment from Stardegrada earlier, they say, fully destructible environments and the guy slowly knocks down a few blocks. Show something big. So yeah, I've put the big blow up the rocks with TNT and released the acid earlier in the trailer. Also should mention I've changed lava to acid in the jungle levels. That goes into the biome difference. I didn't address that earlier, sorry. Anyway, alas, yeah, I've put that big set piece right at the start of the trailer. Hopefully it grabs some attention. We'll see if it does, see if it doesn't. And finally, the final main recurring piece of feedback is to not focus on quantities like 3 or 30 or whatever. Continuing on the Stardegrada comment, 3 distinct biomes, the first and third look similar, maybe emphasize lava, the third more. 3 powerful boss fights, 3 is not that many, better to just say powerful boss fights generically. And I think they're dead right, because look, my game has boss fights, the boss fights are cool, they're fun, but I don't have more boss fights than Dead Cells. I don't have more biomes than Terraria, and I'm not trying to. My game is not the same as those 2 games. So while I can show off that I have boss fights and different biomes, I don't need to quantify them. I can just show them in the trailer. It goes into the show don't tell. Put them there. People can see there's variety. It's not just one area. It's not just one boss fight. Blah blah. Yeah. And I hope that my new trailer, which is linked somewhere on the screen, captures it and shows people that. Yeah. All right. Otherwise, that is the stuff I wanted to show. In response to the Reddit thread, yeah, but yet again, very appreciative of the feedback I got there, and I hope my new trailer reflects me internalizing and responding to that feedback properly. Yeah, the ball's rolling. Game is nearly done. Anyway, thank you for that. Appreciate it.